Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael, and today we're getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's begin. This post was created about 2 months ago in the True Off My Chest subreddit by user dentist Big7041. The post is titled, "I got a text from my sister's bestie about her and my husband loving me too much to do anything to hurt me. My sister's bestie told me that she felt guilty for being a snitch, but that she couldn't do this to me anymore because she thought that I was a kind person and didn't deserve this. My sister and my husband have always got along very well. They're both brilliant, both lecturers at the university, and they have so much in common. I am not stupid, but I never loved school and I have a high school education. They have become best friends through the past 14 years, but I have never felt uncomfortable about it since my husband has shown me nothing but love and respect. Until now, I count myself lucky that the two people I love the most in this world get along so well, but now I feel nauseated. The best friend sent me screenshots upon screenshots of her conversation with my sister. My sister has feelings for my husband, and she appears to know that my husband feels the same way about her too. In one of the texts, my sister wrote that she loved me too much to do anything to hurt me. In another, she wrote that I was too dear to both her and my husband to do anything that would hurt me. She seems to think that they're soulmates, which is odd because the talk about soulmates came up once between my husband and me when I told him that I didn't want us to be soulmates. He was curious and asked me why. I told him because soulmates meant that we are programmed or destined to fit together. There's no free will involved, and I want my love to come from a free space, not a predestined place. He laughed and said he loved that, but apparently they're soulmates. I know that I need to talk to him, but I am dreading that. I am in so much despair right now. Edit 2, thanks for your help. I asked how I would be sure before asking my husband so he doesn't just blatantly lie. And you suggested looking into his phone. Thanks for your suggestion. I did now. I told him about my sister's conversations with her best friend and showed him the screenshots. He was shocked at first and said he had no romantic feelings for her and he had no idea about her feelings, so I asked him to see his phone. I read their texts and emails and I was shocked that their contact was way more intensive and intense than I thought. They talk on a daily basis, they have lunch multiple times a week, there is nothing in the text, but yeah, he is stupid if he doesn't know that she loves him, and he must think that I am stupid if after reading I don't get the feeling that he has some feelings too. She wrote in one of her texts that she wished they had met first and under different circumstances. His answer wasn't totally dismissive. He wrote, yeah, and that it would probably have been different. When I asked him about it, he said, well, yeah, if he didn't know and love me, he would probably have been interested in another, my sister included. But he loves me and she is his close friend. So there's no relationship between them, but I am not sure that is enough for me. I think they are both wrong and should have nipped it in the bud way earlier. I don't know what to do now. I think I need time for myself to process this. I don't feel well at all about this, and I don't want to make decisions from a place of fear and hurt or convenience. I am sorry I can't answer all private messages because I don't use my phone that often. My husband is 45. I am 42. My sister is 38. My husband and I have been together for 16 years and married for 14. My sister is single. I am not a stay-at-home mom. I have my own business. We don't have children. My sister has 2 from a previous relationship. Edit again. So now I have had some long talks and discussions with my husband. He seems to think that this is getting bigger than it should because I told him I needed time alone to think and digest this. He said that he didn't understand why I was this hurt since he loved me and nobody else. I didn't relent. However, he admitted that he knew my sister was in love with him because she had told him so. But she knows that nothing can happen between them, so she is fine with friendship. He loves her, but not romantically, and is happy to have a friend like her. Their friendship is important to him and he doesn't want it to end because I don't trust him and his love for me. He compared my best friend and asked what I would think if he asked me to cut my best friend from my life. He admitted that intellectually he has more in common with her than with me, but that the heart doesn't always choose who we are more compatible and that he loves and is physically attracted to me. I think this whole situation is messed up. I am repulsed by them both. I texted my sister all her screenshots and she wrote that she was disappointed in her bestie and that your husband is all yours because I would never let anything happen that would hurt you because you are the most important person to me. In other words, they are both contradicting each other since both seem to believe that they are the one who is not letting a relationship between them grow for my sake. Personally, I also think this is really weird. It's strange that both of them are so open about possibly being with each other if OP were never in the picture. They are blatantly saying that the only thing stopping them from having a romantic relationship is because OP is there. I'm not sure if those two can actually hold themselves back forever, but then again, it has been over a decade since they met. Nevertheless, I do think it's healthy in a relationship for each partner to tell each other when they don't feel comfortable with a friendship that the other has. But where this particular situation gets difficult is that the other person that her husband likes is OP's own sister. One user named Art Needs More Floof left this comment under the post. You need to have an honest conversation with your husband, and if you hope to save this relationship, he and you need to go into close contact with your sister, and you need couples therapy. In the best case, your sister is suffering from limerence. In the worst case, they are having an emotional or physical affair. Either way, inappropriate behavior has been happening that has been deliberately hidden from you. They say they don't want to hurt you. Behaving inappropriately hurts you. Lying about it and hiding it hurts you. They are already hurting you and they have not stopped it. I know this conversation fills you with dread. But here's the thing, it's not going to go away and it is not going to get better until it is exposed to the light, aired out, and addressed. Just tell yourself it is like going to the ER, you can't start to heal until the injury is found and diagnosed. You have found the injury, now you have to find what the injury consists of and start treating it. As terrible as the possibilities are, I always find that knowing for sure is easier to deal with than having the unknown dangling over my head like Damocles' sword. About a month later, OP provided us with an update. This update is titled My STB Ex-Husband and My Sister's Love for Me Was Worth 1 Week. I have written here a few comments about my soon-to-be ex-husband and my sister. I left him about a week later and he texted me day and night about how much he loved me and wanted me back, and then he just stopped. That's when I found out that my sister left her children at my parents' house and moved in with my husband. This made everything come out to the rest of my family, and my parents were shocked. My mother really looked like she was already showing PTSD symptoms. She said she thought this whole thing was disgusting. She kept calling it incest and asking if that was even legal. I guess that is how much my sister cared not to hurt me. Even though I have been so composed and calm that I surprised myself, I still tried my hardest to look back on my whole life, childhood, and upbringing to understand when it all went so wrong. What my sister did felt like something that was the result of years of resentment or at least indifference towards me and our relationship as sisters, so how did I miss that? She never cared about me, did she? If she didn't, how could I have been so blind? Then, not even a week later, I heard that they had ended things. I found out in the oddest way possible. My sister texted me. It was the first time she had texted me since everything started. She just wrote, "You bitch, I hope you burn in life and in hell." I was very confused because she spent that week sharing cheesy, deep quotes about love and soulmates and romantic Instagram stories with my STB ex, but apparently that was over. My ex has blocked her everywhere and she moved out. She came to my parents to get her children and had a meltdown when they asked for an explanation. STBX started calling and texting me again, asking me to meet because he wanted to explain because he loved me and wanted me to understand. He wanted to meet at least once before we started to meet with the lawyers involved, so that is that. This has left me even more confused than if they just ended up together. I understand falling out and in love, breaking up and starting anew, but I can't explain this. He kept calling me his only love and true friend, and my sister, until I left, kept promising that she would never do anything to hurt me. She left her children at my parents' doorstep and didn't answer their calls or texts for a week. And all of this for a week. What were they thinking? Has anyone here heard of something like this happening? Are people throwing everything away for not even a week? A user named Alternative Prior 9559 said the following under this update. I knew there was so much more in it than they were not letting on, and I knew eventually they would attempt more, which they evidently did. I knew too that it wouldn't last, although admittedly I probably would have given it 6 months. But for them to gaslight you the way they did and then in the shortest time move in together is just beyond words. Only making it a week is pretty spectacular. My feeling is that neither of them could live with the fact that they had disgusted so many people, alienated their families, and really lied throughout. They are both egotistical, self-centered individuals whose image is all important, and when they realize they have taken a battering, the relationship is doomed. In terms of your sister, she's a snake. There is a deep-rooted jealousy of you that is so warped it would take a psychiatrist years to unravel. I think a huge part of this entire horror is linked solely to her jealousy of you and what was your happy marriage. She went out of her way to split you up while sweet-talking you and trying to make herself out to be the perfect sister. You never saw the knife in your back. As for your husband, well, what can I say? He's weak, a cheater, a liar, a gaslighter, an unsafe partner, and not worth your breath. I hope you can get some individual counseling, as it's going to take a long time to heal from such a traumatic betrayal from the two people you should be able to trust and count on the most. I hope you have a good divorce lawyer signed up and that you file your case as soon as possible. Don't listen to anything your husband has to say. In my view, if his lips are moving, he's lying. There's no coming back from the fact that he lied initially, then texted you with begging messages, then moved in with her. Now that it's not gone his way, he's back on the begging train. Leave him in the dust, OP, and focus on your own healing. As for your sister, she's dangerous to you. As hard as it's going to be, I would cut her out of my life and keep it that way. I know this is going to cause huge problems going forward in terms of family gatherings, etc. But I think your parents will more than understand your situation. They must be as traumatized as you, sending you strength and courage, OP. OP then provided another shorter update the same day. After 1 week of being in love and my sister leaving her children at my parents' door to be living in my home with my soon-to-be ex-husband and flaunting everything on social media and sharing cheesy quotes, she moved back to her apartment and got her children from my parents. They aren't friends on Facebook and he has unfollowed her on Instagram. Now she is saying that I have ruined her happiness, and he started texting me again, begging me to talk in private because he needed to explain everything before we started getting our lawyers involved between us. I understand that people fall out of love, and sometimes they can't control who they fall for, and they can hurt many people around them, but I never heard of two people throwing everything they pretended to care about for 1 week. And that was the final update we got from OP. I was pretty confused as to why OP's sister called her a bitch, but I think that one comment was right. By doing this, OP's sister has effectively ruined not only her relationship with her sister, but with the rest of her family as well. I had the benefit of the doubt and was hoping that perhaps OP's husband and her sister were halfway decent people. But no, they're both pieces of shit. I'm also of the opinion that OP's sister just had a deep-seated sense of jealousy towards OP and her seemingly peaceful marriage. What's even crazier is that now she's blaming OP for all of her relationships being destroyed. She's just an absolute clown. This next post was created just 3 months ago in the Am I Overreacting subreddit by a now deleted user. This is honestly so stupid. This whole entire situation is the dumbest thing I've ever been through, but I really need to talk about it. My husband and I met when we were in our mid-20s. In my late teens and early 20s, I went through a promiscuous phase. I had sex with probably 30-something men by the time I was 23 years old. My husband's body count was just 9, and my husband has always been insecure about it. But he was the one who asked, "How many people have you had sex with?" And I was honest about it because my husband didn't seem like the person to judge, but he was grossed out and said, "That's really gross, you let that many dicks inside you." I didn't think my husband would care so much about this, and I regret telling him my actual body count. But we worked past that and we never talked about my body count again. It's never been a discussion ever again. 7 years married, we don't have children. But over the past 5 years, my husband has been having sex with other women and he can't stop. I just found out about his affairs several months ago. He started cheating on me when he was overseas and he was on dating apps having casual sex. It's so crazy because everyone from his work knows that he's married and no one cared to tell me what my husband was doing overseas. He was deployed 3 times and he used that time to have sex with other women. He's probably surpassed my body count. Honestly, I don't understand why women actually want to have sex with him knowing he's married. One girl even messaged him and said, "I'm going to replace your wife." And he texted back saying, "Oh, are you now? Like, what the actual fuck? I'm in shock. Why did you do this to me? We have been married 7 years and built a life together. If you wanted to act single, then why didn't you get a divorce?" He could never get over my body count. It was silently killing him on the inside. I guess it hurt his ego. He told me that he admits he wasn't as desirable to women when he was in his 20s. And now that he's in his 30s and has more life experience and he's older, women now find him more attractive. Especially after working out, he's had more attention from the opposite gender. I'm just like, okay, but you're married, and he said he shouldn't have gotten married so young. He says it's unfair for him to say no to all the girls who want him now when they didn't want him before. He told me he realized that women like older men who are more established in their careers, and I believe him. And I also noticed they like stealing other girls' husbands as well. Anyway, the divorce is finalized. I just received my paperwork. I have also been back in the States. He's still in Europe, getting his dick wet. I stupidly contacted him a few days ago when I was drunk, and he told me to get help, and then he blocked me on everything. I hate him so much, but I'm still not over this. I know I need therapy, but I just don't have the money for that. I'm unemployed and have been staying with my family until I get back on my feet again. ETA. People keep telling me to report him for adultery. I actually did report it to his higher up, and they were kind of confused as to why I was trying to get him in trouble. They assumed I was trying to steal my husband's money. My divorce is also finalized now, but honestly, none of this even matters. Infidelity is so common in the military. Trust me, I tried to get him in trouble for adultery and try to get compensated for his cheating, but I didn't have a case. They don't take UCMJ seriously unless it's someone who faced sexual harassment or was raped who reported him, which didn't happen. You'd also have to be someone really important in the military, and that high-ranking member would also have to do something extreme like get someone pregnant for them to really care. But I went to legals and presented text messages about the affairs, and they couldn't do anything about it. They informed me that this really wasn't anything and I should keep moving forward with the divorce. They told me they know it sucks, but I need to move and leave with my dignity. Infidelity isn't going to hurt his career. I walked away, gaining nothing from this divorce other than heartbreak. This is unfortunately really common. I personally know a lot of people who cheated in the military, and the most common outcome was they would get divorced and receive child support, which everyone else is entitled to no matter what the reason for divorce is. So call me immature or whatever, but at first reading through this made me chuckle a lot. Just the idea that this dude was going around just trying to pass his wife's body count was comical, and 30 fucking bodies by 23 is insane. But on a more serious note, OP's husband was just not a good person. Like she said towards the beginning, he was very self-conscious about OP's body count. This likely meant that he also lacked self-esteem when he was younger. OP did share toward the end that her husband said something to the extent of girls not wanting him when he was younger. This was a relationship that was just destined to fail, and whoever ends up with him later on is likely also fated to be hurt if they're expecting loyalty. Now, some may disagree with me here, but I was not a fan of OP trying to go after her husband's money after the divorce. Reason being is I've seen way too many situations where one partner, be it the male or female, whichever, completely ruining the life of the other by taking half of their money or assets, and that's basically what OP was trying to do. Again, that might be a bit of a hot take here, but I want to be genuine and that is my opinion. Nevertheless, I do think OP's ex is a piece of shit. Aside from what I said about the money thing, I don't think OP really did anything wrong. Again, I think her now ex would have cheated on her eventually regardless of how many bodies she had.